Hello everyone, Ember Power here, and welcome back to a new video, this time on TCG Live. So this is actually my first attempt at recording on TCG Live. I have no idea how this video will turn out quality-wise, so that's going to be very interesting to see on YouTube, because truthfully, this game is pretty laggy, especially in games. Like, I can't even process the thought of having to watch gameplay for TCG Live right now, because, I'm just putting it to the back of my mind because of how laggy it basically is. Most players, if they think they won't stand a chance at beating you, then they just kind of concede because they don't want to waste any more time because the games take that long. So, note to the devs, please speed up the pace of the game. But other than that, this is going to be my overview of thoughts of the game so far. So, as you can see, it creates an avatar. Mine's very creepy, by the way. Even the victory animations are weird. They have this profile thing where they have these levels. I'm not totally sure how the levels fully work. I do know that you can compete in these leagues, I should say. I'm currently in the Pichu League, and basically what these leagues determine is that when you go through them, you'll get more rewards, but they'll also determine, like, on average, what kind of players you'll be playing against and what kind of matches you can expect to see. So it doesn't want to load in the images. Oh, we do see a bunch of caps. So these Poke League rewards are purely cosmetic as far as I'm aware, which is kind of lame. I'd have hoped we would get better rewards than that. But as you can probably tell, you can get some better rewards. If you keep going further down, they start to offer like rarer cosmetics, I guess, or more cosmetics. But I'm personally not a fan of that. I don't really care how my avatar looks, to be honest. So nothing too crazy in the league section. But basically, the profile, just quickly going back to the profile, whenever you level up on TCG Live, you get a bunch of rewards. They're typically nothing too crazy, but it does help you for, completing out the character. And something else to note is that the Battle Pass, whenever you complete daily challenges or whenever you make progress on the ladder, your level also goes up a little bit. So when you fill this XP bar, then you level up again. So for example, I'm at 505, and this is how much XP that you'll get from doing daily quests. And that kind of leads me on to my next point about the Battle Pass, is these daily quests are pretty important, especially this one, because not only does it offer the most XP, I'm pretty sure, from these two, but this daily quest right here, which you'll get a new one every day, so it's important to bear that in mind. You get 60 crystals from doing it, and it's always something really easy, like attach 9 energy cards to your Pokemon, evolve 3 Pokemon, play 4 item cards, something like that. It's a challenge that you can realistically achieve in one game, and that's really nice because 60 crystals is really good. Like, crystals are an amazing currency because it's what you use to pay for packs, and it's also what you use to buy the premium pass. So if you don't know what the premium pass is, it's essentially this bottom tier of rewards. So if you don't buy the premium pass, you can only unlock the top rewards. And this pass thing basically resets every new set, as far as I can tell. So whenever there's a new set release, the premium pass and the pass itself will reset. So unlike TCGO standard ladders, they do offer special packs. And this tier, or tier 0, I should say, whenever you join this ladder, you also get a free deck. And the free deck on this ladder was the World Championship deck list. And I have more or less been using this deck list to grind through TCG Live. And it's certainly one of the best decks to start with as well. It's pretty simple. You just use Arceus to power up whatever you want, i.e. Flying Pikachu or Hisuian Decidueye. It has a bunch of really good matchups, and it's a really, really solid deck to pick up. So yeah, you probably notice there's a weird haze above this. I'm not sure why that is. That's nothing to do with my computer, by the way. That is just in-game. But yeah, you get a free deck just on every new ladder when it resets. And you also get some other rewards, such as 7 of the latest packs and 1,250 credits, which you can spend on crafting new cards. I'm assuming these rewards, like obviously not the same deck, obviously not the same packs, but these kind of set rewards will be the same for every new set or new ladder. But then we have the premium pass. So if you spend 600 crystals, you can unlock the premium pass, and you get a new deck, a new set of sleeves, 500 coins, and 1,500 credits. And this deck happened to be Eternatus VMAX. Now, this is a very disjointed view of the deck. It probably, yeah, it doesn't even separate Pokemon Trainer's energy. Very cool. But as you can see, it does have the alternate artwork. So it also has a dark patch here, dark gold, dark patch, gold dark patch, Radiant Hisuian Sneasler, gold Samurott V-Star. There's a whole bunch of really nice cards in here. You also get an alternate or Umbreon, which is worth an absolute bomb online, as well as a full 3 line of Shining Fates, Wheezing Coughing that I've been trying to get a hold of for ages. And this is just a deck that you can essentially get for free because you paid 600 crystals. Now, what I will say about this Eternatus deck is that this ladder will reset in about 3 weeks' time, give or take, depending on when I upload this video. So I'm uploading this video, or I'm recording this video on the 17th of February, and it says, wait, did I say 3 weeks? Okay, it says it ends in 5 weeks, 5 days. Okay, so that's probably when the next set drops, actually. So when Scarlet and Violet drops will be when this resets. At least that's as far as I can tell. So even if you don't want to migrate your account immediately, you do start with, I think it's roughly 400 to 500 crystals. So then through a couple of daily challenges, you can earn enough crystals to be able to afford the premium pass. And even if you don't play that much of it, it's still some really solid rewards. Obviously, if you don't think you'll play much of Eternatus because the deck will rotate, then, don't bother with in that sense. But the premium pass is just really good for getting extra rewards. I know these are all hazed out because I've been collecting them all. But effectively, the biggest premium reward is often the crystals, so you try and earn back your keep to pay for the next premium battle pass, as well as just getting new rewards, because crystals aren't typically, or not at all, I don't think, on the first battle pass, or the non-premium battle pass, I should say. Yeah, there's a lot of terminology involved with live that I don't fully understand yet, but yeah. As far as I can tell, you don't really get crystals at all for playing on the non-premium battle pass. You have to purchase premium one to get a hold of crystals. And there is a lot of tiers as well. There's even more free decks as you keep going. Like, this is tier 14. I'm only up to tier 7. I can pay this and unlock the next one. So that's another thing. You can actually buy your way through the tiers. One thing I will say about this is that it costs crystals, and it's these rewards. It's nothing too crazy. Unless you're really pushed for time, I would probably recommend you don't do this because it just seems like a bit of a waste. But if you're going to do anything, do unlock the premium pass and, do complete at least this daily quest, because crystals are hard to come by, and just being able to get 60 every day is pretty big in this game. Because it just means you'll just be a little bit closer to buying stuff from the shop. So I guess we'll go take a look at the shop now. The shop on TCG Live, I will say this about Live. The shop is 1,000 times better than TCGO's shop. Like, I don't want to hear any criticism for this shop. It's 10 times better than TCGO's. You won't be able to change your mind. Don't try. So there's a bunch of bundles. They say new arrivals, but it's more or less the same thing. There's even just entire decks here. Like, there's a Mew VMAX League Battle deck for 1,250 crystals. Obviously, if you already have Mew VMAX built IRL, you also only get a 2/2 line and 2 Genesect. So if you have this deck already built, then, you obviously don't need to purchase this. And I do believe Mew VMAX is on the premium pass ladder. Like, if you grind hard enough, you will get a max rarity version of this deck. So, that is something to bear in mind. But that's just something there that you can purchase for crystals. So that's pretty cool. There's also these, like, alternate art bundles. Like, the Zard one I was eyeing up, even though it's pretty expensive. You can get these, like, really cool alternate arts, which are usually limited to promos, which is really sick. So, there is some couple of really nice bundles. But if you go over here to expansions, we get to see what's up with the packs. So they have the latest set, including special sets, which I didn't think they were going to do this, but they have special sets. So they have bundles, and they also have special, like, bundle collections for each set, including special sets. So the special bundle for Crown Zenith was basically the contents of an Elite Trainer box. You get 10 packs, you get the new deck box, you get the new sleeves, and you get this really cool alternate art Lucario V-Star. So as you can tell, there's, like, a lot of different bundles you can buy. And then there's a couple of these. This one, I think, is just, 1 pack, 10 credits. That's, like, the typical bundle. Then you have this one, which is 3 packs, 125 credits. And then this final deal, which is 6 packs and 350 credits. which is, yeah, that's probably like one of the better deals, but 200 crystals, still a lot of money. And what you really want to be doing, because you don't actually get 10 cards in every booster pack, that's something else to bear in mind, is you really want to be purchasing celebrations. So why celebrations is such a good pack to open is it because it contains all holo rares. So even if you just get more than, so I probably should have explained the currency, how like the currency works way before I talked about this. And you probably already know about celebrations, but if you haven't already, I recommend at least getting several playsets of most of the cards from celebrations, like the main set, because if you do, then every time you open a celebrations pack, you will earn a 5th copy of what is essentially a holo rare, which will convert into a lot of credits. And that's all you really need to know at this point, because yeah, you can get like 4 of every card in most sets, but most sets are too big to do that. So Celebrations and Pokemon Go are the best sets to do this for. So, if you kind of try and get 4 of every card in the set, then that makes sense. So then you can just use them for credits, and then we'll talk about credits and deck crafting in a minute, but So we can see here, if you want the Pikachu V-Union bundle, no longer do you need to hope that someone has, the code for this. You can essentially just purchase the bundle and get all 4 Union pieces. So that's pretty cool. There's also like this other deal, which is it gives you a gold Pokeball and then a gold Pikachu V, which is look pretty cool in all fairness. And you also get 16 packs of celebrations. So that's an insane amount of value just from, opening duplicates if you have the full set. So yeah, 3,000 credits is an awful lot. It's supposed to be an expensive deal. But yeah, we'll just go on to one more set just to give an example. Check out Silver Tempest. So, similar deals. And then we have one at the top here. Usually these aren't anything like too crazy. You get a couple of promos. Like, I'm personally okay with these. They seem okay. They're all right. Nothing too wild, but you do get some nice stuff. So it's just a way of accumulating promos as well as just normal cards. So I do like that. You can also purchase gold coins using crystals. I don't know why you would ever do this, because you earn gold coins from doing so little in this game. Like, I haven't been playing that long at all. I really can't stress that. I've only been playing this a couple of days, really. And I already bought a deck box for 600 gold coins, and I'm already back to 478. So it's just, do not spend crystals on coins. It seems like such a bad currency exchange rate. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend doing that. But if we go to decks, we can kind of like make more sense of these guys. So if I just say create a new deck, create a new deck for standard format, and then you can basically just see everything that's currently in your collection. So pull these from the Crown Zenith set. And what's really nice is that if you want a duplicate of any card, like if you want a second copy of it, if you want a third copy, a fourth copy of anything like that, you can just craft it. So for example, if I take this Galarian Meowth, I can just say available, and then if I want an additional one, I can also see how many I have currently. So I don't have any, but I can exchange here, and I can just buy one card, one Galarian Meowth common card for 40 credits. And that's just how the credit system works. So if I were to do this, if I go to filters, and then, don't need that actually. If I go to filters, and then I click not owned, and I go down, and I keep going down, and I keep going down, and I click on, let's say, V-Star, and I see 36 cards. Basically, any of these cards that, like, I know for some reason it shows you that I have 3 Arceus. I don't have 3 Rainbow Arceus, I just have 3 regular Arceus. I don't know why it does that. TCGO doesn't do it, but TCG Live does it for some reason. But what you can go and do is essentially say, right, say I wanted this Darkrai V-Star, I could just click on it and then exchange it for 1,025 credits. It seems like a lot, but it really isn't that much, considering that you just need, a 4-3 line, and you can amass credits pretty easily. And Vs are also a lot cheaper as well. So if I was to filter in Vs, they would be like, I think they're about 750 credits, so they're definitely not as expensive as V-Stars. Radiants are about 600. So if you can, try and get one of each viable Radiant before you migrate your account, because they are kind of expensive, but Vs and V-Stars are certainly the same price. So as we can see here, Lucario V-Star isn't like a very competitive card, but say I just wanted to play this in the deck or I was working on a counterbox deck, I could just purchase one of these for 1,000 credits. But say I wanted to build Lugia V-Star, a tier 1 BDF card, 1,000 credits. Has a set value. It's not like TCGO where, Lugia V-Star is sitting at like 40 packs or whatever it is currently, whatever ludicrous value it is. You can just craft it. And that's the same for, alternate arts as well. Like, look at this amazing card, alternate artwork, 1,000 credits. Like, that's amazing in my opinion. So just being able to do that is really cool. Also just this to me is like one of the best features about live, hands down. Is just being able to craft anything that you need really at the given time. As long as you don't go trigger happy and try and get 4 of everything, you should have plenty of credits all the time to be able to build whatever you want to build. So I'd like to kind of end this by, yes, I want to exit this deck, it's not valid. So I'll just go ahead and delete that because I don't need it anymore. So it will just automatically save your deck, by the way. You won't be able to quit the deck manager and not save it. But basically, I've got to want to take time at the end of the video, I should say, to do a little bit of a roundup review of all the free decks you get. So you actually currently get all these decks just for signing up to TCG Live. Now, something interesting to note is that a lot of these decks either rotate or lose a lot of key pieces to rotation. So we have to assume that with Scarlet and Violet and rotation, they will give you new free decks. Now, the question remains, does that mean to players who have already signed in, like myself, does that mean we don't get those Scarlet and Violet decks as well? Or do we get those decks in addition to these free decks? I'm assuming not, and they will just have expected you to grind up an up collection to build a new standard deck. But if you do want any of these decks, then you do have to sign in now at least to claim them. So the World Championship deck list, easily my favorite deck to grind with. This has been the best, surely. It's just so good and very consistent. The World Championship deck list, obviously the free one on the ladder, very cool. Then we also see Blissey V, which is probably the best beginner's deck, quote-unquote beginner's deck, I would say. It's pretty easy to play. It does need some upgrades for it to be more competitive, but Blissey V is certainly not a bad deck to pick up, and I would say it's a pretty good one at that. There's also Zacian Zamazenta, which does have a couple of filler cards in here, but if you're a fan of like Zacian V-Star and Zamazenta V-Star, then this would be a good one to pick up. Obviously, Zacian does rotate in April, so that's a little bit of a problem. There's also some filler Pokemon like you do not need Berserker, you can get away without it, but yeah, pretty cool deck overall, and Zacian's not a hard deck to play. TCGO I Inteleon is definitely the deck that will be rotating. Like, I'm pretty sure all the key pieces here do rotate. But this is, it's one of the easier decks to play despite being an Inteleon build. It also teaches you, better combos and stuff, and TCGO I also walls out a lot of other decks, including most of the Zacian deck and all of the Blissey V decks. So if you go up against any of the players at the start who are running these other decks, there's a jolly good chance you can just wall them out entirely with TCGO I, which is pretty good. Then we see the Eternatus VMAX deck. I'm sorry I can't expand the view. This is something that I'm very critical of TCG Live. Just the fact that you can't actually make the deck viewer bigger, like you can't get a full screen view. I don't know why. It's really awkward. If you want to do deck profiles from TCG Live, this is how it has to be. But going back to what I was saying about Eternatus, pretty cool list. You do have to make some modifications for it to be, good in standard, but still pretty cool and also decent deck to pick up and play in expanded if they, add more support for it. So Eternatus is pretty good, available on the premium pass for free. Then we see the Inteleon VMAX deck. Again, it's an okay build. It's nothing like too crazy. You only get a 2/2 line of the Inteleon, so it's nothing wild there. I'm trying to get this to scroll down. All right, there we go. So you also get 2 of the Suicune, which I don't think it's crazy. Yeah, Aurora Loop only doing 130. So yeah, I don't think this is like particularly a great deck by any stretch of imagination, but if Inteleon VMAX is your thing and you like this Pokemon, then this would be a good deck to pick. Then you also get Rapid Strike Malamar, the only attacker in the deck, as per you expect. Does have some questionable inclusions, such as one Crobat V, but, it's not the worst deck ever. It is Rapid Strike Malamar, so it will survive rotation. There is some stuff that you can play. So I'm personally I'm a fan of Malamar. You know, like I kind of like the deck. I do think Cincino is like the weaker build. I think the curlier God of War engine is just a bit better. But yeah, if you're a fan of Rapid Strike Malamar, then that's cool. We also see Rapid Strike Urshifu because for some reason we don't get a single strike deck, but we do get Rapid Strike Urshifu V Max, which is probably one of the better decks. Definitely like easily, it's just the best starter deck. I'm not sure to be honest. I think Blissey V and the World Championship deck list, for as long as they're on the ladder, are the better decks. But Rapid Strike Urshifu is pretty good. It also features, I think you get 4 Rapid Strike energy. I can't like. Oh man, this is so annoying. I just want to be able. I just want to be able to see the whole deck, but you can't. You have to like fat along with this scrolling thing. Okay, so you do get 4 Rapid Strike energy, which is pretty handy. So yeah, you just start with a. Typically with these decks, you'll only get a 2/2 line of a VV max. So they kind of want you to experiment with these decks, see which one you like, see which one fits your playstyle, and then spend the credits to purchase extra copies or pull them in packs. So pretty good way of doing it, and I don't really fault them for it because a lot of these decks play very differently from one another. There's also Shadow Rider Kyrex, which looks to be a really solid partner for God of War EX post rotation. So really cool that they give you this deck. You will need to make some modifications to make it post rotation friendly, i.e., swap out the Quick Ball Finesse Ball and then get a 2/2 line. Well, a 2/2 line on top of your 2/2 line. So it's cool to see though that you do get Shadow Rider as well because it's a pretty fun deck. There's also Suicune V, which is personally one of my favorite decks in Standard to play. You've got Suicune Ludicolo, and then also a 1/1 line of Ice Rider for some reason. I'm not sure why that's in here, but yeah, I guess Suicune Ice Rider was a deck at one point, but you get a 1/1 Altaria in there for some reason. 2 copies of Scoop Up Net, though it does rotate, but yeah. So you can probably tell there's some like interesting card counts for sure, even though it's only on the battle pass for a short amount of time. Well, 5 weeks if you call that short. But the World Championships deck list has definitely been, one of the best free decks I've ever played with. Like I don't have Arceus on my TCGO account because they were too expensive. But being able to play this has been a massive help. Pikachu VMAX can wall out a lot of other these decks. You can just destroy them. It can destroy Inteleon, it can destroy Suicune, it can destroy Blissey, it can destroy Zacian. There's plenty of decks that this has a positive matchup against, so do recommend at least logging in and picking these up if you do need it. But yeah, it's been Ember Power. So do it for today's video. Thank you for watching, and yeah, let me know what you think down below, and thank you for watching.